The next call was a split call. Alistair Scott, 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. This is a fantastic bill, Mr Speaker. I'm very pleased to be standing in support of this bill because it gives the whole country an opportunity to celebrate together our national game. Too much talk has been about the alcohol anger and anti-alcohol speak, but it's more than, it's not about the alcohol, it's about getting together. It's getting together to celebrate, giving people the opportunity to gather in communities with their whānau, with their families, with their kids, and enjoying the camaraderie and the celebration of the sport. Mr Speaker, I'm also pleased to read that there are no restrictions on the games. All games are in. I mean, there could have been a view that because of alcohol is usually the excuse, that for some reason we had to restrict the games to just the All Blacks. Or perhaps it was just going to be the Northern Hemisphere games against the All Blacks. Or perhaps it was just, countries that we had FTAs with. Or perhaps it was just American continent games. But there was no restriction, sir, and that's a great thing, because that demonstrates again that the game is an inclusive game, and that demonstrates that New Zealand is an inclusive society. We are here together. And there has been talk, and I note and acknowledge Louisa Wall's comments around her experience with the licensing vis-a-vis the rugby club. And I accept that this bill allows this House to be the licensing board on behalf of all New Zealand. So there will be consistency across the country when it comes to special licences. So this, sir, is us legislating a special licence for all New Zealanders. The people who are opposed, particularly the Greens, are just, they're just not on this planet, sir. They become the wet blanket on this bill that is about celebrating our national sport. Really? Are we really going to get a whole lot of people stumbling out of bars at 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning after a rugby game? That's just a nonsense. Whether it's in Courtney Place or in Perry Street in Masterton, sir. It's just not a reality, and unfortunately the fear-mongering, the scaremongering, I can tell you, sir, that is absolutely exaggerated and is a sad indictment on what it should be a celebration of this country's sport. Mr Speaker, back in the day, and I looked up to see when Colin Meads actually did play, it was he finished his games in 1971 for the All Blacks. It was a little while ago, but I do remember getting woken up by my father to watch the game in black and white. So I must have been about 6 or 7 years old. And Mr Speaker, now in this World Cup festival, we can get up and go down to the pub. I mean, why shouldn't we be able to go down to the pub and meet and commune with our fellow relatives, people in our communities? And it's not about the alcohol. We can have an orange juice. There's no obligation to drink. There's no compulsion to drink. There's lemonade, there's orange juice, there's even water. And Mr Speaker, the other point is that not all bars will be open for all games. Clearly not. And that's the great thing. It gives the operator, the licensee, the option, the choice to make. And it'll be on commercial decision-making, on how many dollars will come in the door because of the event. And that's the way it should be. So the All Blacks will be open for most pubs. But Namibia versus Georgia, probably not a great following in Perry Street in Masterton. So, Mr Speaker, I'd just like to wind up by thanking David Seymour for bringing this bill to the House. A very good bill. It's going to gather the communities across New Zealand together in celebration of our national sport, and I commend this bill to the House.
I call Brett Hudson, 5